This is for my iTunes and Spotify podcasters, listeners. Hit that like and share this video with all you podcasters, the ones that listen to me on the audio. Thank you very much, guys. This is Solo P1. Welcome to the F1 Monaco qualifying 2023. And I'm going to bring my my broadcast partner in. Where is he? TOTO Hammer. TOTO, how's it going, bro? It was a strange one. I'm going to try and limit it to 10 minutes today because I've got a lot of things to do. I want to go out and get some stuff. It's a lovely day out there. I don't want to spend all evening around a computer. So, basically, what did you think of the qualifying, TOTO? You're breaking up, man. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about more of that on the debrief. I'm just saying, what do you think about that overall? I know what you mean. I know you're a technical guy. This is why we do the debrief on the Mondays, by the way, people. Whoever's watching this, we do the debrief live, debrief on every Monday after every race. But what we're talking about, what do you think of the overall? Do you think, who would you pick to get? I don't even know. Who? Yeah, I know. Who was your pick to get pole? You know, at the beginning. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Lewis wasn't. Lewis wasn't. What I was thinking. Yeah, what I was thinking. What I was thinking is Lewis didn't look good at all in the first two qualifying. At one time, I thought Lewis Hamilton wasn't even going to get into Q2. When I think he done 2 runs on these tyres. He was struggling with the car, and I think after the second attempt, I thought they should have brought him in for some fresh boots, but they never. They put him out there on another lap, and he didn't improve on his lap. So when he came into his at the end of Q1 for some more fresh tyres. He only just made it because if there was a crash at Monaco, because we know at Monaco there's always crashes. Someone goes into the barrier, and I thought when they gave him the new tyres at the end, that was chancing. It was too soon. It was too close. I thought they're gonna get him. I thought there's gonna be a crash. Someone's gonna crash, and Lewis is gonna get caught up in it, and he's not gonna finish his lap, and he'll go out in Q1 because he was in the danger zone. And it was the same in Q2 as well. The chance that, again, with the strategy, Lewis was on the radio because I watch it on the onboards. I've got everybody's onboards. I watch it on the iPad. And I was watching everyone's onboards, and I was watching Lewis Hamilton's, I was watching Alonso's, I was even watching Max's. And when I saw Lewis Hamilton, you could see he was struggling with the car. He just kissed the edge at the end of the last sector. And I thought he wasn't even going to get in there. Yeah, I never thought he was going to get in there. Now, my pick at the beginning was Charles Leclerc or Alonso. I just thought, look, at the end of the day, it's not always the fastest car that wins it. A lot of the time it does, but it's not always the fastest car that wins a race. And there's a record going around the last 10 races that pole position hasn't won the race. It's always been second. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Fingers crossed. I hope that Alonso wins. I'd love Alonso to win this race tomorrow. I would love it. And I know it's going to be, I know a lot of Lewis Hamilton fans, including me, is going to be salty, but I don't really care about the salty tears. I love Alonso and Hamilton, both the same. You are allowed to like both. Go on. Standard. I don't even know. I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure that wasn't last season. You mean when he goes, he's out? That one. That was last year. They've won every race this year. How can there be a DNF? They've won every race this year. But you know what's going to happen? I know, so from last season, because you know what it is. You know what it is. I know why you're thinking. I know why you're thinking last year. I know what you're thinking this year. Because this season, it seems like this season hasn't even taken off yet. They've had more breaks than they've had racing. So you're thinking, oh yeah, that race where they had the DNF was last year. Because this season, let's face it, has been kind of mute. But you know when tomorrow, you know what you're going to hear tomorrow when the race starts? When that race starts tomorrow and whoever gets in that first corner, what you're going to hear for the entire race and from the commentators and from the crowd, you are going to hear cricket. That's what you're going to hear tomorrow, because mark my words, right? Qualifying's exciting. I'll give you that. Qualifying's exciting in Monaco, but the race is completely different. And in the race, it is cricket, unless someone comes off and you get a safety car, or like you said, the two scenarios. What you said the only way, if Alonso gets in that first corner, the only way Max is going to beat him is somehow there's a delay in the pits. Or they could use Checo as an anchor. But I'm not sure if that's going to work in Monaco. You might as well say, when Checo went into that barrier, let's talk about Checo now. When Checo went into that barrier, let's face it, that was his championship over. It's over now. That's his championship over. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. 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 So, yeah. I believe everybody believes you. True talk. True talk, man. True talk. This is why. In I think it's 2026, they're gonna start making the cars more smaller. So basically, they're gonna they're gonna start from 2026. They're gonna start shrinking the cars, because this is what they should have done before. You know, I think the best era, for me, right, the best era of cars, when you go and watch the old ones from the old 50s and 60s and 70s, I think the best era of cars were from the late 80s, 88, all the way through to the 90s, up to about 2004. Up the cap, I'll give it the cap is Schumacher. Up to so basic from 88 all the way to 2004, that was the best era of Formula One, the best era. Best looking cars, the perfect size, not too big, not too small, just perfect. And that's when you got more exciting racing. Then if you got smaller cars, you can get more cars in the grid. Maybe they can add more teams to the grid. Because to me, you need more teams. There's not enough teams on the grid, man. So basically, you make the car smaller, then you can fit more cars on the grid, and that'll make more exciting races. Maybe that's the way they're going, because I know they are small in the car. They're making the car small. It's been It's been confirmed. From 2026 onwards, when the regulations change again, they're going to start making the car small, and that's happy days for me. But the biggest question is how small? How small? So, tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? I've been running for, how long have we been running for? What do you think is going to be? Well, 10 minutes now. We're going to be heading off in a minute. What do you think the results for tomorrow? I don't even know. I finished third, didn't I? Hold on. So look, who finished? Hold on, I'll tell you now. Third was Leclerc. I'll do the results. I'll sign off the results now, the final results. I'll tell you what it is now, the final. I'm going to sign them off. For the podcasters, for my iTunes and Spotify listeners. It's Max Verstappen first, second Alonso, third Leclerc, fourth Ocon, fifth Sainz, sixth Hamilton, seventh Gasly, eighth Russell, ninth Tsunoda, 10th Norris, 11th Piastri, 12th Nick de Vries, 13th Albon, 14th Stroll, 15th Bottas, 16th Logan Sargent, Kevin Magnussen in 17th, Hulkenberg 18th, One Yu Zhou 19th, and Perez 20th. So I heard some rumours about Nick de Vries as well, talking about Nick de Vries because I just saw his name pop up. So that if he doesn't do nothing in the next 3 or 4 races, that they might drop him for Ricardo. That's what I heard, something going around on the internet. On a few credible websites that they might drop him for Ricardo. What you reckon about that? He's not really stepped up, has he? Yeah. And Drive to Survive. Yeah. 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 You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he kind of ran his gums, didn't he? Kind of ran his gums, didn't he? De Vries, he kind of ran his gums. That basically run up his mouth. He ran it at the Drive to Survive. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna come and make a mark. I'm gonna bring some maturity into this team." And I remember at the time watching that, and I mentioned it on my podcast, so I'm not just making it up. I mentioned it on my podcast about a month ago, and I remember saying that is what this is what Tsunoda needs. Him and Gasly were too close. They were like a brother relationship. So when De Vries came into that team and said, "Right, I'm going to bring some maturity into that team," Tsunoda must have thought, "Yeah, you reckon? You think you're going to come in my team and beat me?" So I reckon when the winter came, at the winter break, Tsunoda probably stepped up his training, stepped up his dedication, done more simulation work than he usually does, stepped up, dedicated himself and said, "You know what? You ain't going to come in this team and beat me. I'm going to beat you." And that's what's happened. De Vries has come in and he's realised how good Gasly was to keep Tsunoda behind him. he's probably realising how good Sonoda is now as well. So, all of a sudden now, it's turned on him and everybody's looking at him now and thinking, you know what? Psst, you ain't getting nowhere. You're not as good as you said. You've come in, you've said all these big words, but you're not performing on the track. And that's how it goes sometimes. This is why I'd rather keep my mouth shut. If I'm doing something like that, you keep your mouth shut, you be humble, you come in and just do your driving, and whatever happens, happens. Now he looks silly because potentially if he messes up, he might not. And you know what? If Daniel Ricciardo comes into that team, Jensen Button has definitely got his name on that, because I know Jensen Button, he's got part of that team. He's involved with Williams. So if Daniel Ricciardo goes there, I think Jensen Button's had a lot to do with that, in my opinion. So the last thing, what you want to say anything last before we go, Toto, because we're signing out. We've been going for 15 minutes. Yeah. Just be humble. Just be humble. Exactly. That's what I just said. I know, you're right. That's what I just said. That's what I said, I know. I'm going to go for Alonso win. I got a feeling Alonso's going to get me in the corner. If he don't get me in the corner, I think he's going to get me in the pit. I think Alonso is a master strategist, and I think he's got the experience he's going to get him through. To win Monaco, you need the experience as well, and I think Alonso is amazing. And the thing about it, the reason why, let's face it, which I'm not going to get into really any tactical stuff, because we'll leave that to the debrief. Let's face it, if Red Bull didn't have that straight line speed, that last sector, Alonso would have nailed him. It's the fact that they got the power in the car, and that's what got Mac through at the end, on that big straight at the end. That straight going past the swimming pool in Sector 3, and that's what done it, the speed of the car. But it's okay. I think Alonso's going to jump him at the beginning, and if he doesn't jump at the beginning, he'll jump him in the pits. My pick tomorrow is Alonso win. Second, I'm going for Charles Leclerc. And third, I'm going for Lewis Hamilton. There you go. That's my prediction. So it's Alonso, Charles, and Hamilton, top three. And if it happens tomorrow, you're going to buy me a coffee. And by the way, before we go, that QR code, scan that. That's just it means buy me a coffee. That goes towards the channel. You're not obligated to do it, but it's always meet with a thank you if you can scan the QR code and buy us a coffee, and that'll go into the fund of Solo P1 and Toto Hammer. But like I said, you're not obligated to do it, but it will be appreciated if you did. Thank you very much, guys. We're going to sign it out. And the iTunes family, hit me up on the iTunes, hit me up on the Spotify, and Toto Hammer as well. Later on, we've got a match prediction for Liverpool's game tomorrow against Southampton. The season finishes tomorrow, and we're going to be doing our player lineup tomorrow. Today. Later on today, to look out for that live as well. Thank you very much, guys. See you later, guys. See you at Monaco race day tomorrow.